Well, guys, great news that Canada has finally decided to make it easier for Canadian employers to hire temporary foreign workers. Multiple changes have been made, relaxations have been put in place, and it is finally easier for the employers in Canada to hire temporary foreign workers from outside, that is, people coming to Canada based on LMIAs. Please be tuned till the end for full coverage on this particular topic. My name is Sahil, and see you on the other side. Guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to connect with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of coming to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So, guys, very recently, this declaration, this media release came from IRCC that Canada has started working in the direction towards making it easier for Canadian employers to hire temporary foreign workers. Now, guys, as a prerequisite, just to give you a background, if any Canadian employer has to hire a temporary foreign worker from outside Canada, the employer has to get something known as an LMIA, which is a Labor Market Impact Assessment, in favor of that particular hiring, that recruitment. That particular LMIA is processed by the department called ESDC and requires the employer to go through multiple job advertisements and interviews, and then only the candidate can be selected and proven that the candidate is actually required by the employer to run its business. Now, guys, earlier, in fact, pre-COVID and during the COVID, the process of hiring temporary foreign workers and LMIAs were under a lot of stress because they were time taking and certain restrictions were in place. Very recently, which is this month in the year 2022, Canada has finally released 5 new changes to assist employers in Canada and help them address the labor shortages. Now let's just look at what are these changes. Now, guys, the first one is that to address the seasonal peaks or the seasonal demand of employers in Canada, for example, people who are working in the fishing and the seafood industry, there will no longer be a limit to the number of low wage positions that a person can fill with the temporary foreign workers. Okay, there was an earlier seasonal exemption gap which has now been made sort of permanent, and the work permit can be increased from 180 days to in fact 270 days in a year. So in the year 2015 there was this particular exemption that would come only during the seasonal time. It has now been made permanent. Okay, that means no longer there is a limit to hire temporary foreign workers during the low wage positions during these particular seasonal requirements for certain industries. The second change that has happened is that the LMIAs will be valid for 18 months now. Pre-COVID, they were valid for 6 months. During COVID, they extended the validity for 9 months, and now it's 18 months. So that gives a lot of employers benefit to apply, and in case of delays, it helps them. The maximum duration of the high wage positions or the global talent stream, the LMI is based on those particular situation, and a global talent stream, temporary foreign worker can get a work permit up to 3 years now. It was earlier 2 years. This change has been introduced to make sure that these high skilled positions or these high wage positions, the people on these positions can be retained. They can easily build their pathway to PR, and it will help Canada retain such talents and give them permanent residency in a later time. There are 2 other changes which have been introduced effective April 30th. First, the people or the employees belonging to particular 7 sectors, for example, people in accommodation or food services, will be allowed to hire temporary foreign workers on low wage position up to 30% of their workforce. Okay, this also gives us another benefit that all the other employers will be allowed to hire up to 20% of their workforce based on the low wage position, which is an increase from the 10% gap which was kept previously. The second change that has been put in place is that the government will end the current policy where automatically they refused any low wage positions in the accommodation or the food services or the retail industry. Okay, this was earlier in practice. They have now stopped it, and this practice was done where cities had an unemployment rate of over 6%. So this particular practice has now been ended. People can start hiring, and the first one will come into picture. guys, such particular uh, changes are very good in place, because if you look at the overall composition of temporary foreign workers in the whole employment sector of Canada, it represents a very small number, and these people are highly capable of transforming into permanent residents, because they've already worked in the Canadian market, they've spent time, they've paid taxes, they're now accustomed to the Canadian working style and the standards, and hence they make the perfect candidates to get their PR in a shorter time. If you look at the other PNPs and the other pathways of PR as well, the people with Canadian experience do tend to make good candidates for a lot of PNPs or the other PR programs. And such changes, that these 5 changes will definitely help a lot of people to come to Canada quickly, and then will also help people to convert their temporary residency into a permanent residency in the times to come. Guys, I hope the news was helpful, gave you much insight into what's happening, how IRCC is thinking in towards bringing more people towards Canada on temporary foreign worker, and how they're helping these people to get their permanent residencies in a later time. Guys, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, please feel free to schedule a session. I would be more than happy to connect with you. Once again, I wish you all the best, and I really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.